Okay, I'm recording. Welcome to the call tonight. Today is January 14th, first 2 weeks of the year. Hopefully everybody's having an awesome first few weeks with this big launch of the brand new cafe latte. I know I have a box on order. I'm excited to try it and to get it in people's hands because I've been hearing nothing but good things about it. That it's creamy, that it has just a subtle hint of coffee to it. And I know, me being a recovering addict, when it came to big train mochas, this is like a good fix, especially when it's packed with all the goodness. And I don't know, I'm like scared, that I may become a fan of that and disown my chocolate. I don't know. But it's really exciting. So if you guys haven't ordered some or thought about ordering packets, get a box of packets. Go in with, if it's financially you can't do it right now, go in with another coach, go halfsies on a box and sell them, 5 to 3 packs to your customers, so that you make that back. And then chances are, they like it, they're going to want to order their own bag. So then you're going to come out ahead anyway. So that was just a little snippet for what's going on with this week. And we've got obviously the challenge packs that are on sale and everything that's in the back office. I'll just refer you guys to go check out the back office and see what's going on back there. I'm going to do a screen share and do a recognition because I created a board and I'm going to share this on social media tomorrow. Because I am working better or getting better at now creating stuff in PicMonkey, and I'll be sharing these recognition boards on social media so that your following can see this and see what everybody's doing. We can all shout each other out and give each other high fives for all our hard work. So here comes my screen share. Okay, hopefully that comes through. Give me a thumbs up if that went through. Hopefully it did. Okay, awesome. Okay, so here was my board. Oh man, hang on. Of course, there's going to be technical difficulties. Okay, so these were our top volume producers for the week of January 7th to January 13th. So in the hundreds, there was David Coldren, Michaela Christensen, Holly Bennett, Holly Vaccaro, Ashley Blickery, Susan Faye Crockett, Shayna Conradi, Heather Thompson, Ashley Schmidt, Nikki Schmaltz, Andrea Fetch, Elena Lucina, Andy Lucina, Dan Sudbeck, John Hall, Janae Meske. And then in the 200s was Ann Cowlar, Heidi Woodall, Ellie Price, Alicia Berger, myself and my second business center, Tani Dolan and Kim O. And then in the 300s was Beth Delabar, Laura Sudbeck, Amber Cox, and in 400 was Stacy Frith. So congratulations, guys, on having an awesome last week with your volume. And this is, what I recognize here. This is, part of what we're talking about tonight is, is volume and how this plays a key role in your income when it comes to your paychecks every week. So what I have is some slides, kind of like screenshots of slides. So this is going to be a kind of a Jimmy rigged kind of a slideshow here, but this is kind of what we're going to talk about is the team cycles and how you cap out at a certain rank. Every rank has a limit to what you can earn when it comes to team cycle bonus. And, that starts at Emerald and Ruby and then your Star Diamond ranks. Okay, so that is kind of what we're going over tonight. So this is, we're going to kick it off just to make sure everybody understands how volume is built as a team. We always talk about your team cycle bonus and everybody's just kind of, some people get really confused. Like, well, what does that mean? So your volume, it starts with, okay, there's your sponsor, whether it was me or whether it was your PS coach, they're the one that brought you into this. So here's you. And you are going to have a strong leg and a weak leg. You hear us talking about that all the time. And your strong leg is going to be represented right here. This is your strong leg because you are placed under your sponsor here, and all your sponsors, new coaches, are going to be put underneath you. So that is ultimately going to be your strong leg on your right side, or whichever side of the organization your sponsor put you. You will notice when you go in your online office and see new coaches coming in, when you see these coaches coming in and they're not yours, they are your sponsors, or they are going to be anybody's coaches that have been placed under you. And all of those people add up to your volume on your strong leg. So even though they're not your personally sponsored coach, or even your personally sponsored sponsors, all of that volume rolls right on up to you. So it's, it's good, that you get on a leg that your coach is building, because all that's going to benefit you in the end. So ultimately that leaves you needing to build your weak leg. If you're, working towards volume and working towards doing a cycle bonus. You may see this in the back office, the little section that talks about your volume. So your PV, when they're talking about PV, that's your personal volume. So that's you and your customers, anything that your customers are purchasing, anything you're purchasing. So your projected volume, that is going to be what you have done this week. And it's just kind of, you and your customers there. So your team volume is the TV that they talk about. And that's your coaches and their customers, and that all adds up to your team volume. So when you look at this left leg, right leg, obviously that is, each of your sides. And here is where you're going to be able to determine which is your strong and weak leg, simply by looking at the number. Obviously the right leg is the stronger leg because there's, 2,400 volume there. And then the weak leg is going to be at the 1,300. And your coach is just going to keep putting, as long as you're under a business building coach, they're going to continue to add, coaches, and hopefully help teaching them duplicate what they're doing. So the volume is only over time. It could go fast. It could start growing faster. It could start growing slowly. It just all depends. The speed of the leader is the speed of the pack, they say. And all of these represent, or just, your coaches. These would be your personally sponsored coaches. And these are the coaches that they're bringing in. So they just end up branching off on their own. So they continue to build their team. So that's kind of how your volume works. And you're also, you're going to benefit from all of this volume as well that your team is building and bringing in. Okay. So this kind of breaks it down of what you can get paid per cycle at each rank and what you're going to cap out at. So I know we've got a couple of diamonds and we've got some emeralds on board. So I'm not sure if everybody knows how this all works, but so when I'm going to explain more about like the cycles again, just so everybody understands how they cycle, how it works. But per cycle, emeralds get $14 every time you cycle, and you can cycle multiple times, up to $250 a week. That is the most that you can make on a team cycle. That doesn't include your personal sales. This is just what the team volume can do for you income wise every week. So at most, emerald you can make is $1,000 a month with team cycle. And then at ruby, you earn $16 every cycle, and that caps out at anywhere from $500 or $1,000, I believe. And at diamond, and this doesn't matter if you're just diamond or you're 15-star diamond, you cap out, or you have $18 per cycle. And that weekly income cap is $2,000 at just diamond. And it goes way higher the higher you go in rank, up to 10-star diamond, but nobody's at that point yet. So I don't want to make your head spin going into that. But if you look at here, emerald, okay, so you cap out your 250 is where you cap, and you're paid $14 a cycle. So that means you can cycle 18 times in 1 week, and that's going to add up to 250. So when it comes to like the weekly, looking at the weekly volume, like I showed in that little screen for the page before, I don't really focus on the number of the team volume. I don't focus on this. What I look at is what is my weak leg doing? Because 9 times out of 10, I mean, my strong leg at this point, and at some point yours will be too, it's going to be way more than your weak leg. So I always just pay attention to this number, because that's the number that gets divided into this to decide how many times you cycle. And then you look at the annual income bonus. This is what you can cycle bonus in a year's time maximum for each of the ranks. So at a diamond cycle, bonuses, 104,000 is pretty cushy. But this just means, you have to be adding coaches to your team in order to make this happen, and teaching them how to do exactly what you are doing as well to hit their rank and weekly income and volume goals. Okay, I've got a scattered guest desktop. All right. Okay, so what's a cycle? This is something everybody gets really foggy on too. And I want to make sure I clarify this. And I'm sure you guys have seen the video that Michael Neiman did with all the little guys, the little wrestler guys, and he was really, really corny. But it's a really good example of it. But I just want to touch on this again for anybody that maybe has not seen that, or still kind of not sure. So what a cycle is you have your weak leg, again, which is this leg, and your strong leg. Obviously, because you've got more coaches on this side, and it's probably your upline fed. And a lot of people think your weak leg and strong leg is determined by the amount of coaches you have on your team, and that isn't necessarily the case. It's more because you have stronger building volume in that leg, and it's really obvious. For most coaches, I guess it's pretty even. So, some situations the volume's even, but 9 times out of 10, one leg is significantly stronger than the other. Okay, so in order to cycle, your strong leg must be 200 volume points, at least 200 volume, and your weak leg has to be at least 100. Now, this stuff comes into play once you're an Emerald coach, and you have a coach on each leg. And when you are an Emerald coach, you may only start out seeing like 90 on one side and 100 on one side. So it may take a couple of weeks for it to build up to that 200 and 100 until you start adding coaches who are doing the same thing that you're doing. So when it comes to your strong leg, you have to have at least 200, and your weak leg has to have at least 100. So when you go over here, I guess it's kind of broken down in both places. So say this coach has 540 volume points on their strong leg. That means their coaches are kicking butt. Their coaches are selling challenge packs. You're bringing in coaches, you're showing them what to do, and boom, all of a sudden you've got 540. Now that volume comes from, their Shakeology, from their challenge pack orders, everything. So they have 540, and then your coaches on your weak leg only have an accumulation of 200. So now they go through, and at the end of the cycle, at the end of Wednesday, they will go in and they will start subtracting 200 from your strong leg and 100 from your weak leg. And they will keep doing that until there's no more points to take away. So there's minus 200, 100, there's one cycle. And then minus 200, 100, cycle 2. So you have cycled 2 times and you have 140 left. So there's a better breakdown over on the right side. So minus 200, then you have 340 left. Minus another 200, you have 140, and then they have nothing left. So that will cycle you 2 times. And say you are a diamond, you get paid $18 per cycle. So say this was a diamond coach, you cycle twice, 18, cycle 1, 18, cycle 2, add it together, that's $36 that you've made that week in just your team cycle commission. And that's just from what your coaches are doing. So now what do they do with this leftover 140 volume? It doesn't go away. It gets banked. Like I think of it as there's like a little bank in your back office where all these extra points go and they get saved. So when I was talking about how my strong leg is always, there's always way more points in that leg. There's so much left over that when I pay attention to my weak leg, I always know what I'm going to get paid, because I have I have a ton of banked up points in my strong leg that's just going to pay me no matter what. And that may happen to you. So that kind of, hopefully that explains it. If you have any questions, just chime in. But that, and that on all these cycles start once you hit Emerald and you start recruiting those coaches and teaching them to do what you're doing. Okay. Okay, this is like a formula that's really helpful to help you calculate that bonus. Okay, so I threw out a little example here. Okay, so to calculate this, the first step, you're going to determine your strong leg and your weak leg, which like in, in the pictures before, you see that one is obviously, you got more points in one than the other. And it's going to be obvious every single week. So for this example, say your left leg is your weak leg at 2,000, your right leg is your strong leg at 4,000. You take your weak leg volume, which is 2,000, you divide that by 100. And then you're going to multiply your number by the amount of whatever rank you are, say you're Emerald, so you multiply that by 14. Okay, well, in the example down below, I guess they use Diamond. So here's the example. Weak leg 2,000, strong leg 4. 2,000 divided by 100 is 20, and 20 is how many times that you cycle that week. So if you take 20 times 18, that's $360 that you made that week as a Diamond coach, because your team was rocking it with 2,000 points. And let me tell you, I've seen that, guys. I've surpassed that. It's pretty awesome what you can do once you just duplicate yourself. But I always, like I said, I just focus on just the simple formula and calculating that once you get to that point where your volume is creeping up there. Okay. Your goal is get organized, guys. Okay, so this is how you would reverse engineer setting your goals for income goals for a week that will set your sights on what you want to make a month, what do you want to make a week at an Emerald rank. Okay, so say your goal is you want to make $100 a week. So $14 a cycle, you would have to cycle 8 times in order to get $112 that week. So in that week's time, your team volume on your weak leg is going to have to be 800 team volume points. And your strong leg is going to have to be at least double that. If it's more, that's awesome, but it has to at least double what your weak leg is because of the 2-to-1 ratio. So in order to get to that 800, you're going to want to have, at least 2 or 3 coaches that you've signed, and you want to help them to achieve Success Club 5. So basically, you're just going to teach them to do exactly what you've done, how to get people into a challenge group. That's 3 people, 3 lives that they have to help. And if you break that down into like 21 Day Fix challenge pack, one challenge pack is 105 volume points for a personal volume point. So if your coach sells 3 challenge packs, gets 3 challengers on board, they earn 315 volume points for themselves. So if you have 3 coaches that are hitting 315 volume, that's 945 for you. So that surpasses your goal of 800. So you've made your 112 that week. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. And the cap is 250 a week, like we said earlier. So if your goal is to make 250 a week at an Emerald, and that ends up being $1,000 a month, $14 a cycle, you have to cycle 18 times. If you cycle 18 times, that's $252 a week. I'm not sure what they do with the extra $2, if they give it to you or if they stash it. I don't know what they do there, but then it shows the volume. Like in order to achieve that, your volume on your weak leg has to be 1,800, and then it has to be double that on your strong leg at 3,600. So basically there, you need to have at least 5 coaches that you are helping achieve Success Club 5. Now that can be your personally sponsored, or if they are bringing coaches on, anybody that's hitting that goal in your downline is going to add to that volume. So, don't think that it just has to be your coaches. It's the whole unity of your team. So all it takes is 5 hitting Success Club 5. It breaks down the challenge pack again. 5 coaches with 315 volume points. That's 1,575 volume points for you. And then say like you have coaches that are, retaining their HD customers. If they're retaining that, and say 3 people stay on Shakeology and they order Shakeology, 3 people do, that's another 270 volume points. So you're going to hit your goal at 1,800. And that can happen so easily, you guys, so easily with building a team. Like, I know we earn an income with our sales, but this is really where the meat of this business is. And it's really important that you guys know this and kind of understand it, study it, absorb this info, or go on YouTube, seek out more information on this so you really get a good grasp. Because I know a lot of you had sent me these goals of your income weekly, monthly, and I want you to know how achievable this is. It's just setting your sights on specific goals to help you get there, and just to know how to get there. Okay, and I'm going to lay out the emerald or diamond. Whoops, hopefully I'm not going to get kicked off here. But this is if once you hit diamond rank, which I hope this is something you guys all have your eyes set on, because Emerald is a great kickoff point to open your business, to be able to accrue the volume and to get the leads. But Diamond is where you want to go, because a lot more takes off after Diamond. So say your goal is 250 a week, $18 a cycle at Diamond, you'd have to cycle 14 times, and that's 252. So there it shows you the breakdown again with 1,400 on your weak leg and 2,800 on your strong leg. And it really breaks it down. I mean, it's the helping your 5 coaches to hit Success Club, helping 3 people a month. And that, once you bring those coaches in, get them to run a challenge group with you, show them how you do it. And if it takes you having to have conversations with their customers or help them with their messaging, and how they're talking to their potential customers, whatever it is that you can do to make it easier for them, go for it, because that's going to help them increase their volume, and it's ultimately going to help you cycle as well. So I'm not going to I don't want to run out of time, but I'm going to post this recording, and I can even post these slides in the group so that you guys can see this breakdown of how it all works. But if your goal, like you go up to $1,000 a week, and you're helping a ton of coaches, you're helping 10 coaches hit their goals. I mean, that's ultimately what you guys want to do, is like help your coaches hit their goals, because that's what's going to help you hit your goals. And what I try to encourage all of my downline to do is shoot for 200 to 500 volume points personally per week. And that's going to help you with your team growth, with your customer growth. And, setting that kind of a bar for your coaches too is going to boost it all the way around. And you work as a team, it's going to only grow faster. So that's kind of the breakdown for Diamond. And I actually snagged this little picture. I thought this was kind of cool, of a coach, their first 3 months versus just this past year. They started in, I don't know if you guys can see that, but they started in 2013, and for the first several weeks they were getting nothing. And then all of a sudden, boom, they started making 300, 190. It started creeping up little by little. And more than likely what happened is they really dove in with their challenge groups, and they started growing their team. And they started that process of duplication and the vital behaviors every day, inviting and just going all out. And then 2 years later, look where they are Like, that's like mind-blowing stuff. Like, you hear about these coaches, like some of them having a $20,000 a week paycheck. And it's like, wow, how was that possible? Like, they must have just soared to the top. Well, no, I mean, you look at it, I mean, they started out, it didn't take, it didn't happen overnight. It took them 2 years of really, really hard work to get to this point. So this is this person's first business center where they're making $5,000, $4,000, $6,000 a week. And once you hit 2-star diamond, and this is where I'll tell you guys, I used to emphasize a lot on diamond, but I feel like an emphasis should really be on 2-star diamond. And I'm saying that now because of where I'm at now as a 2-star, because of the benefit that you get to open a second business center, which is what's represented in this image. The second business center is going to generate income, and this is like duplicating yourself. And you get to put, instead of putting all of your orders through your first business center, you get to put them now into the second one. And that is like another coach that's producing a lot of volume. So you could be selling challenge packs through yourself and earning a crap ton of volume from yourself. So that's one really, really awesome perk about it. And this coach, it's like they're taking off there and they're already making $500, $400, up to $600 in their second CBC. So that is quite a significant income when you add the two together. And that's just from paying it forward and taking what they've learned and duplicating themselves in their team. And it's what it takes, you guys, to get here is never giving up. It's telling yourself, believing in yourself and believing in your goals and your dreams. If it is your desire to make $1,000 a month, if it's your desire to quit your full-time job, here is the roadmap to get you there. Here's the breakdown to show you exactly what you need to do. And you hear it all the time. What is the secret sauce to the success of all the top coaches in this network? And it's the vital behaviors. It's them doing their power hour every day and being consistent every day, showing up, being pumped up about their journey, the lifestyle that they're leading, continuing to grow in personal development, continuing to, grow as a person, and showing that to other people so that they can see that you are a person on a growth path and that they're going to trust you and believe in you. So constantly be putting positivity, your journey out there on social media, and let people know that they can do it too. Get them engaged with you on your posts and get them, asking you more questions. So when you're putting those social media posts out there, follow it and end the whole post with a question like, what are your thoughts, or what would you do, or anything to engage them to start that conversation back with you. And make sure that they know that they can be involved in a challenge group, or that they can get involved somehow. And just constantly be building relationships with people every single day and looking for people who are just like you. That was one thing in the beginning I really didn't understand, how like building a team, like how it could be really helpful when you're connecting with people who are like you. So take your top 5, 10 interests, things that you're all about, and try and find those people, figure out where they're at on social media and connect with them and get them over to your Facebook page so they can see what you're doing, what you're all about, and that they can ask questions with you or ask you questions about what you're doing. Because your vibe that you put out there is what's going to attract your tribe. Those are the people that you want to be in this with the long haul, the people that are just as excited about this as you are. I mean, that's why you guys are all still in this and why you guys have sticking to this, because you believe in it just as much as I do. And you know that there's possibility out there and you know there's potential. So just don't give up on your dreams and goals, and, take this to the bank, write it down and visualize yourself making $100 a week, making $500 a week, and lay it out on paper. What does that look like for you? How many people do you need to start signing up as a coach and getting them to do exactly what you're doing? Because you're on that path. You're here now and you're doing what it takes and you're having success. So now it's just showing other people that that's possible for them too. And just listening in your conversations for people that are giving you an idea that they have a problem that you have a solution to. So make sure you're always in tune to that and offer that solution up. And anybody in your groups that you see potential in, do not be afraid to reach out to them and tell them, hey, I love your energy. You're such a delight to have in this group. I love the content you're putting out. I love how you encourage everybody. You're doing just what I do. Have you ever considered becoming a coach? I think you'd be amazing at it. You know, just throw it out there. Throw it out to the universe. I mean, who cares? They say no. They say no. It's not for them. You know, and that's okay. You know, it may not be for them right now, but, you know, they know that you're that person that's thinking of them and that believes in them. And they're going to remember that. They're going to remember the things that you tell them and say to them. So don't ever give up, you guys. Everything is possible. So hopefully this helped a little bit, breaking down everything with the volume. And if you have any questions, you know, you can go ahead and comment. I don't know, Andrea, if you have any questions, you can feel free to unmute. But I have a pretty good grasp on this from how far I've come. And like I said, if you feel like you want to dive in more, there's so much training out there. Just looking on YouTube and Googling volume and Team Cycle and all that. There's so many people that have put descriptions, and Beachbody's put stuff out there. But I just figured kicking off this year, this is a good time to talk about this so that you guys have a good grasp on this to help you get those volume and income goals that you guys are searching for this year. So if you don't have any other questions, that's kind of all I have tonight. So hopefully you guys, anybody that listens to this later, will catch the recording. I will post it in the group and I will put it on the YouTube channel as well. But otherwise, if there's nothing else, have an awesome night and we'll chit chat soon.